Psykers are one of, if not the most complex characters to use because they need to manage peril, the resource they use to cast their abilities and use their staffs. In a fast-paced game such as Darktide, this means having an additional thing to think about during your moment-to-moment gameplay. New Psykers can sometimes forget about this and end up overcasting beyond 100% peril, causing them to explode in the middle of combat, which might cost them the game. That's where Psykinetic's Wrath comes in. It allows Psykers to rapidly quell 50% of their peril at any time, even during the overload animation. So understandably, this combat ability becomes a panic button when you're still getting used to managing your peril. The problem starts when you only ever keep your combat ability as a panic button throughout your mission, and not use it for any of the reasons I'm about to mention in this video. Hello varlets, in this chapter of the Psyker's Handbook, we'll be exploring 5 uses of your Psykinetic's Wrath beyond just using it as a panic button. Diving right into number 1. Not making use of the stagger. Apart from quelling peril, Psykinetic's Wrath also has a stagger component that reaches 30 meters. When would having a near instant 30 meter stagger come useful? Well, just to name a few, you could stagger firing gunners, interrupt enemy melee hits, counter pouncing dogs, interrupt bomber grenade toss, interrupt flamers, and generally create a moment of breathing room for yourself. This list alone gives Psykinetic's Wrath an incredible amount of utility at the press of a button that doesn't just help you, but helps your teammates as well. Speaking of helping your teammates, number 2 on this list is using it to save teammates getting pounced by poxhounds. This second point also makes use of the stagger. The difference is making use of the fact that Psykinetic's Wrath goes through walls and using that to help teammates in places you would otherwise not make it in time. The instant cast speed of Psykinetic's Wrath also means you don't need to dedicate a lot of brain power to saving your teammates. Take a look here. In this clip, I'm trying to find the sniper hiding in the distance, but then my teammate behind me gets pounced. I respond by turning briefly, casting Psykinetic's Wrath in his general direction to free him, and then turning my attention back to the sniper, for which I got shot anyway. Here's another example to show you just how powerful Psykinetic's Wrath is as a saving tool. In this clip, one of our teammates has decided to stay on the floor above us and fight there, while the rest of us are below him. He then gets pounced by a dog and is helpless without us to free him, but he is too far for us to reach. However, using Psykinetic's Wrath, I am able to free him from below through the floor and get him back into action with no effort. If you are going to only remember one thing from this video, please let it be this. The ability to save out of position teammates through a horde, a wall, and the floor makes this something no other class can do as effectively as you can. Imagine if every Psyker practiced doing this. Nice, right? I've done this so often that it's muscle memory to me now. So much so, I'll let this clip speak for itself. Moving on, if you have a keen eye, you might have seen another benefit I'm about to mention here, and that is, casting Psykinetic's Wrath does not interrupt what you are currently doing. Together with its stagger, you can create space while channeling your brain bursts or staffs, potentially giving you the breathing room you need to create a game-saving Trauma Blast or Purgatus Torrent. You can also cast Psykinetic's Wrath for a cheeky interrupt while you are carrying objects, which might be what you need to close a mission out, like on Power Matrix or the raid mission on Chasm Logistratum. If you are using kinetic deflection and blocking, casting Psykinetic's Wrath buys you more time to keep blocking with your peril instead of dipping into your stamina. This gives you a little more time to tank a demon host or have enough of a peril buffer to pull off a revive, all without stopping your block. Number 4 on this list is using Psykinetic's Wrath as a toughness heal. If you have Quietude equipped where any peril quell regens toughness, Psykinetic's Wrath can basically act as an instant toughness recovery for you, recovering up to 25 toughness instantly if you quell 50% peril on cast. Now you might be thinking, 25 toughness for a 30-second cooldown? That doesn't seem like it's worth it. On paper it might seem so, but as you move into the harder difficulties, keeping your toughness at 100% to take free hits is crucial to your survivability, since without it, you'll probably go down in 3 or 4 hits. That means, on Damnation for example, if you suffered a single blow to your toughness because a stray poxworker came out of nowhere and stabbed you in the kidney while you were in combat, casting Psykinetic's Wrath while you have peril helps to bring your toughness back up, enough that it might help mitigate most of the damage from the next hit if it comes. Using Psykinetic's Wrath to recover your toughness also means you'll be shielded from range attacks, if only for a moment, since range attacks can't damage health until all your toughness is depleted. While this use is much more situational, it's good to know that Psykinetic's Wrath with Quietude can act as a pocket toughness heal when you need it to be. The last 4 ways of using Psykinetic's Wrath have been using it as a defensive tool, but for this last one, it's about turning it into an offensive weapon. For number 5 on this list, using Psykinetic's Wrath as a sniper. I want you to think of a sniper for a moment. When is it best used? When no one is aware about what's going to happen? When they are caught by surprise? This is where Kinetic Barrage comes in and turns Psykinetic's Wrath into a rapid-firing sniper for 10 seconds. You can use this to open a combat encounter from a distance, or during a combat for rapid reprioritization on the fly. While this use is relevant on all difficulties, it's much more important on high-intensity heresy and damnation missions because of the sheer number of elites and specials coming at you. Sure, Psykinetic's Wrath to open a combat encounter when you have zero peril and being too far away to stagger might make it feel like a waste, but the trade-off is that ensuring when enemies come running at you, the most problematic of them are already dealt with. I'm talking about bulwarks, shotgunners and bombers, enemies that will either mess with your positioning or destroy your toughness in an instant. Using Kinetic Barrage early on, even if it's to pop regular adds, helps you stack warp charges as well, increasing your damage and, more importantly, if you have inner tranquility, gives you staying power with your staffs for the rest of the encounter. This was made even better thanks to the changes to warp charges in the latest patch. Go check that out if you want to see how all the changes in there affected Psykers. The link is in the description below. Knowing these 5 ways you can use Psykinetic's Wrath should help you improve your Psyker's value as a teammate and give you something to work towards improving in your moment-to-moment gameplay. As the old adage goes, practice, practice, practice. With that, class is dismissed. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next video. Varlets.